Hey everybody, this is Olga with askyoursoul.org, and today I thought we would do a little fun, well, hopefully fun, oracle card session for someone who might have a question that they could use the oracle wisdom for. So, today I wanted to use this deck that I've been kind of like obsessed with a little bit. I don't know what it is about this deck, but I don't know, it just feels awesome to me. And this one is by Baron-Reid, and yeah, it's called Wisdom of the Oracle. So let's see here. So I'm just gonna shuffle the cards, and while I do that, I would like for you to think of a question that you really need an answer to, and preferably not a yes or no question, because as you might already know, it's kind of hard to get those answered through an oracle card. So it's better to ask questions like, if I were to do this and that, like what could I expect, or like something more of an open-ended question, basically, as open-ended as you can and preferably as specific as you can. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little prayer, and then I'm gonna shuffle the cards. Okay, I just did a little prayer, and here we go. Oops. It's kind of hard to maneuver the cards around this little setup that I have. Sorry. 1 second. Oh, okay, this fell out. I'm gonna keep it. Okay. So here's the main card, and this one just fell out during the shuffling process, so I'm just gonna keep it. Let's see. Ooh, clean it up. Interesting. Okay, let's see what the actual guidebook says about this card, and then I'm gonna give you my own impressions. So, essential meanings: getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. And this oracle's message is, ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home also? Too much work, overwhelmed? Time to clean house. Every item out of place natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to a sense of lack, takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds up to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. Relationship message. Time to clear the air, take a look at your side of the street, and say what's on your mind. Sweep away the old stuff so that a spring breeze can flow through with new energy. It's the perfect time to do an inventory of your dynamics and see what's yours and what's not yours to clean up the relationship. Everyone brings some baggage. Sort through what you brought with you and let go of what is no longer needed. Become unencumbered, and your relationship will flourish. And then we also have a prosperity message. Simple things like opening your mail, paying your bills, sorting out your timetable, making lists, and getting organized is what this symbol means when it comes to your work. Make time for yourself too. This card is a sign that you may be overburdened and overwhelmed. It's okay to say no. You'll prosper even more when you do. So it's very interesting that this card just came up because, well, at least for me, because I have been kind of thinking a lot about how I need to declutter my space, and I have like all this unused stuff, and not even unused, but like older stuff in my closet, and I just, like, I've been really wanting to clean it, and I just never seem to have enough time for that, of course. But a couple of days ago, I actually did clean up a little bit, so I had like these two pretty large bags that I ended up giving, donating to Goodwill. And that felt like really, really good, because I don't know, anytime you declutter, it's like I don't know about you, but like for me sometimes it's hard to let go of at first. And I think it has a lot to do with how I was brought up and how like, I didn't grow up in a rich family or anything like that, and plus this was like in the Soviet Union, and like people just didn't have a lot of things, most people. So, yeah, we were always kind of like holding on to stuff, and my mom just raised me kind of believing that like if you can still wear it, if it's not torn or whatever, like just keep it. Like why would you throw it out? It's a perfectly great little item. And if it is torn, then like just let's sew it up and it's gonna be perfect again. So, like not to like bash on my mom or anything, but like it's kind of hard when you are used to that mentality to like let go of stuff, like even the physical stuff. So yeah, I think this is actually very much fitting in my situation. It's kind of like, hey, like you need to create space for new things to come into your life. And it's also interesting that this particular card has a deer in it. And if you notice, there is like a face. And I'm trying to like figure out if this face is smiling or not. Doesn't seem to be like a very happy face, but I don't know. For some reason, like my impression is, and of course, like I'm just going off of my intuition. So like if you have a different impression, that's totally fine. But I feel like it's almost like there is a potential that can be manifested, but it can't be manifested until you actually clean stuff up. And also the fact that we have a deer here and it's kind of like all part of nature, to me, that's a message of like spending more time in nature. Letting go of the old stuff, whether it's a physical thing or a mental thing, maybe even some relationships, which is not, easier said than done. But yeah, it's all about letting go, cleaning up, and cleaning out, I would say. Cleaning out of your space, out of your soul, your heart, and just trusting that the universe will give you exactly what you need, even if the stuff that you thought was important is gone. Also, I wonder what 21, or in other words, that would be a 3, in numerology. I wonder how that relates to the message as well, if it does. I don't know, I'm kind of, I'm fascinated with numerology, but I'm still very new to it, so it's one of those things that I would have to like really read up on before I could make my judgments about that. So that's that, and then let's see the other card that fell out. I'm really curious to see what that one is. Wow, that's a really cool, beautiful card. Look at that. I just love, I don't know, these cards, these oracle cards, I just love their like vibe, and I especially love the graphics. It's just so mesmerizing to me. Like I clicked with this deck like the second I got it. I just really like it. And no place like home. So that's also very interesting because it's almost like in my mind it kind of relates to cleaning up your house, your home, you know what I mean? Because it's been on my mind a lot, actually. Interesting. But let's see what the guidebook says first. Okie doke. So, essential meanings: authenticity, coming home to yourself, feeling at home, arriving to a place where you just fit, being comfortable in your own skin. The oracle's message: home feels safe and secure. It's a comfortable place to rest and create, a place that is known and you can call yours. This card signals that your ability to trust yourself and feel at home in your own skin is beginning to solidify as you claim your dignity and integrity, aspects of yourself that no one can take away from you. You know who you are. You hold your head high, yet with neither pride nor humility. Instead, you stand as the observer, seeing through the eyes of your soul. This puts you in a position of power and strength. Authenticity is your home. You're safe here, in the house of your spirit and spirit. Relationship message: lovers, friends, and companion animals are at home in your life right now. You're in sync and full of love, and you can be secure in the knowledge that it's reciprocated. Relationships elicit a sense of emotional safety, comfort, and the best aspects of familiarity now. Be home in this relationship. Together, you add to the love of the world. And then lastly, we have a prosperity message. When you act in an authentic way, you command the world to reflect back to you exactly what is in your highest good. Your business choices, the investments you make, and the creative projects you immerse yourself in are powerfully on point. Why? Because when you're fully yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, both successes and failures, you will see the divinity in all things. Abundance is a natural progression when you experience this kind of authenticity. Very, very cool. So yeah, so I definitely have, like, I feel really good vibes about this card. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm sure you're loving it just as much as I do. But you know what's interesting though? Like, now that I look at it and I'm just like noticing things, it's interesting that this house is not actually standing on the ground. It has all of the space between the ground and the actual house itself, right? And it's almost standing on this thin little thing that's kind of it looks kind of like a lamp post rather than a house. Isn't that interesting? And you see the light coming through the house. So I wonder if this is like, to me, for some reason, and again, this is like just me thinking, well, not even thinking, but like intuiting what this is about. And again, with oracle cards, you know, if you're into that stuff, you will notice that different things will stick out to different people. And that's very interesting and very important to pay attention to exactly what sticks out to you about any particular card. You know, because maybe this is exactly the message that your spirit guide or your higher self wants you to get. So for me, I kind of see this card as a representation of not being afraid to dream and to kind of like have a fantasy of like what you want, what you would like to manifest in the world. And even though this house is like high up and it's, you know, like it's not supposed to be, because usually the house has like a very solid foundation for it to be considered like a good house, right? Because you don't want to fall out of it. But this one kind of tells me to just trust, to just like go with the flow, to trust that even if it's a dream that's kind of seems a little bit out of this world or whatever, as long as you trust and as long as you keep going towards it, you are going to end up at a place where you want to be, where you're supposed to be. So yeah, so you're going to end up like at home, you know, maybe your spiritual home. So that's what it basically means to me. I also feel like this is kind of like a representation of the moon, and of course the moon is always a very, very intuitive symbol. So it's almost like trusting your intuition, going with the flow, trusting that you will end up exactly where you're supposed to be. And not being afraid to let things go, not being afraid to let go of things or, you know, relationships or people that maybe are holding you back, or that you just feel like maybe it's time to say goodbye. Yeah, so that's kind of my impressions. I'm really curious to find out what your impressions are, so please feel free to comment and let me know how you feel about these cards. What do you think? Actually, no, not what you think, but how do you feel? Okay? Because like when it comes to stuff like this, it's actually more important to pay attention to your feelings rather than your thinking mind. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little session. I'm gonna try to do more in the future, and probably, you know, I'll try to use like more decks. Obviously, I have quite a few more. I've been kind of like really into studying the tarot, and more specifically the Thoth tarot. And so I'm really hoping that once I become more comfortable with reading the Thoth tarot, I'm gonna do more readings related to that deck, because it's really a really, really powerful tool. And it's just, I don't know, I feel very called to do that. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing day or night, whatever's going on in your world right now, and just sending you much love and light. And please, like, if you have any questions or ideas or whatever, just feel free to hit me up. I'm looking forward to it. Sending you love and light. Bye!